Now, I know that game covers being censored or changed is not the worst problem that we face when it comes to censorship. There definitely have been things that are worse that we've dealt with in regards to gameplay, character customizations, character models, even scenes being removed from games that might be a bit too risque to be on a specific platform. But when it comes to game covers, it is still a problem that we have to acknowledge, and it is something that even bothers collectors. And there also is an artist out there that makes these covers that takes pride in their creation. So when you submit the final product, that is what you expect to be on the cover of a game, not it being zoomed in and at an angle that gets rid of half of the art that you have created. So I want to point out that this is not a trend with all major platforms. The wonderful Sony is the one that has been censoring a lot of cover artworks for games, and of course Nintendo and Microsoft have not. There have been a lot of different examples, but a couple that I wanted to touch on were the SNK 40th Anniversary Collection, where the PlayStation 4 has a different cover, but the characters are more covered up, as where the Switch version has men shirtless and women in bikinis. And this one wasn't a full censorship case. It was if they, commissioned a slightly different cover art, but having the characters more covered up. Another big release to see its box artwork changed on the PlayStation 4 but not the Nintendo Switch is Atelier Luluda, the Scion of Ireland. That is a newer addition to the list of censored artworks. You know, the box art on the Western version of the game shows a very zoomed in picture with no legs showing of the characters, while the Switch and the non-Western versions of the game and other versions of the game still show the entire box artwork, legs and all. And of course now the new Blade Arcus being not only zoomed in to cover the character's legs and thighs, but also to cover the navel, as if that's a huge problem, of course on the PlayStation 4 and not on the Switch. And the content that is in the games isn't censored either, just the cover, which to me seems slightly pointless and it seems pretty pitiful in my opinion. I understand that they want it to be presentable on a shelf since anyone can see the box or the outside of the product, but these games are T for teen and up in most cases, and they have content in them that got past Sony's no guidelines or no rules policy. I don't even know what to call it at this point. So why did they stop at the artwork and look at it and go, no, this cannot be. This is ridiculous. Zoom that in. Your legs are not appropriate. I just don't understand why these covers are so bad to Sony. I mean, a female in real life could be in a public place in a short skirt, wearing almost the same exact things as one of these characters on these box artworks. So why can't a fictional character on the front of a box wear a skirt? Why is that not the case when a real person could wear that? And this also speaks volumes, because Blade Arcus is a Sega game. They were targeting smaller Japanese developers, but Sega is a step up on their list, or so I would think, so it's definitely interesting to see Sega's covers now not even pass through Sony's censorship walls. It would honestly be great to see someone from Sega or someone related with Sega be able to confirm, saying that Sony asked them to make the changes, but of course, no one is saying anything, and I honestly doubt that they will. And it also makes me curious, at what point does a company actually get over the censorship wall where they're making Sony enough money to not be affected by censorship? I mean, I have never seen any sort of censorship from a CD Projekt Red title, and I highly doubt that we would, due to the amount of sales that they create for Sony. When the number is large enough, there are no rules in a sense, and that is really what frustrates a lot of these smaller developers and developers in general. There is a point where if Sony looks at you as a moneymaker or as an asset, they're not going to throw censorship upon you and your creations and your games, even in the smallest way of a box art. It still does affect people's thoughts on a title and affect people's thoughts on maybe I should purchase it for a different console or a different system. It does for me as well, I know that Sony is willing to go to the ends of the earth, even to censor a box artwork. It really makes you think, do I really want to support this company, this brand, and their system? which is why they don't want guidelines, because they can apply whatever rules to whoever or whatever situation they see fit, which means a AAA game that is important to the platform, they can leave completely untouched without having to give an explanation. This all leads back to not having any clue of what Sony is doing. There is no rhyme or reason as to what they're censoring and why they're censoring things. This case-by-case way of looking at games and not censoring all games equally makes no sense. How are these developers supposed to know what to make, or even know what they could make and what would be appropriate for Sony and for Sony's platforms in general? Nintendo allowing the uncensored cover arts show that these companies need to completely shift gears and not produce games for Sony platforms, and they need to go where their games are appreciated and where they are not going to be hindered. Clearly, Sony is unfairly applying whatever rule set or guidelines that they have, and we do not know even at this point what Sony will or will not censor. But that is all for today. I hope that you enjoyed this video. I will keep you guys updated if there are any more box art censored. I will be sharing them on Twitter, so make sure to follow me on Twitter. Make sure to support me with the links in the description. I hope that you all enjoyed, and I will talk to you guys again really soon.